What is going on, guys, and welcome to Bootstrap tutorial. And in this video we're going to look at modal in Bootstrap. So you can see over here I have this little button, and when I click it you can see what is modal, right? So this is the very simple example of modal that we're going to look at first, and after that in the next video we're going to actually create a modal over here in this navbar over here like this. You can see this button, and when we click the button, you can see over here I placed actually a form in a modal just to show you what kind of options we have. So let's stop yapping and let's just jump to text editor and let's actually look at how we can create modal. So the first thing we will need to do is actually create a button, right? So here in the comment I'm just going to say trigger button, right? This is going to be button that we're going to be creating as a trigger. So over here we just write button and type, and the type is going to be button. Then we say class over here, and it's btn, and obviously btn, I don't know, I like always danger. And over here we can obviously choose if you want, let's say large button, right? So I'm going to say button large over here like this. Now after that we would need to add a couple of not access key, that's not what we want. We would need to add a couple of attributes, right? And the first one would be data toggle over here like this, but this time the value is not going to be drop down or collapse or anything like that. It's going to be actually very straightforward. It's going to be a modal. And then after that, again, we're going to use a attribute data target over here like this. And we already know from previous examples that this pretty much tells us where our content is going to be. So I'm going to call my content over here that it needs to look for a ID that's going to be modal, right? And over here I'm going to say click over here like this to open modal, something like this. Now what I want to do over here though is I want to actually place it within a jumbotron. So I'm going to say div class, and I'm going to say jumbotron over here. So what we have is I'm just going to place this button over here. So I'm just going to cut this and place this jumbotron somewhere here. Right, so now I can see that my button is actually sitting within a jumbotron. I don't know why, I just like it a little bit better. Now let's go ahead and actually start creating our modal. So again, I'm just going to comment, and I'm going to say that this is going to be modal, and over here we need to create a div that has a ID, the same exact ID that we're using. So obviously here I'm going to write modal, and then it needs to have a class of modal, and we're just going to use class of fade also. And after that, we're going to say that this is a role, and it's going to be dialog, right? And then after that, we're going to create a div right here. And we're going to say that this has a class of modal dialog over here, log like this. And now we're ready actually to create modal content. So we just, again, over here, we're going to create a comment, and we're going to say that this is going to be a modal content. And it's pretty much, if we remember how we were actually working with, I don't know, with accordions and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty much the same thing, right? We're actually creating a header and then the body and then the footer. So in this case, I'm just going to say that modal content is first is going to have a div, and the div is going to be class over here. And I'm going to say that this is going to be modal content over here like this. And then within that div, I'm actually going to create a div that's going to have a class of modal header, right? So div and class over here, and it's going to be modal header over here like this. And then within that header, we're actually going to place first of all, a button, a little close button over here. So we're going to say button, and we're going to say type over here like this, and this is going to be actually to close our button, because we're going to be able to do it with a button all the way in the bottom and also this one. So here I'll just say button, and then I would write a class, and the class is going to be close in this time, and we're just going to use a data dismiss attribute, dismiss over here, and we're going to say modal in this case, and then we can close the button. And now we're going to use this little X, right? So we're going to create this times over here like this, and we're going to say times. So now I can see that we created this little X button, right? And that's going to be first thing for the header. And then we're going to obviously add some type of title. So I'm going to say over here the title would have a class over here of modal title over here like this. So this is going to be modal title, and I'm just going to say, hi, I am modal header. Let's check it out what we have and whether we can actually see that. So I just saved it, refreshed, and click over here. You can see that this is hi, I'm modal header. Now obviously we haven't added anything yet, right? But this is this little button, right? When we have this class close and times. So this, if we click over here, we can actually close it out. So now that we're done actually with a header over here like this, let's actually add a modal body, right? So over here again, I'm just going to create a comment. This is going to be a modal, let's say, body. Let's use modal body over here like this. Modal body. And again, as always, we're going to start with a div, and pretty straightforward. It's going to be modal body over here like this. And obviously we can again place it whatever we want. And then, like I said, in the next example, we're actually going to look at how we can do it with a forms. But in this case, I'm just going to place a little paragraph, and I'm going to say, hi, I am actual modal, I don't know, text, something like this, right? It doesn't really matter. Again, you can place whatever you want. You can place images, or you can place forms, or whatever your heart desires. So now you can see that I have my modal body. Now we can actually create a div that's going to be a modal footer. So I'm going to say over here, modal footer. Now over here, again, we're going to create a div over here like this, and I'm going to say div, and this is going to be class, and the class is going to be modal footer. Footer over here. And what we're going to place in modal footer is actually going to be a button over here like this, and we're going to say type button, and then we're going to give it a class. Let's say it's going to be btn info, and again we're going to button large, I guess, because I think everything is better large, right? But it's LG over here like this. And then we're going to say that this is going to be, again, data dismiss over here like dismiss over here. And we're going to say again that this is going to be modal. And then we're going to just say close modal, right? So now we can again save it. And when we refresh, you can see what we have, right? So hi, I'm modal header. Hi, I'm actual modal text. And this is close modal and close modal over here, right? So very simple, very basic actually. Again, we're just using a button, and then we're setting up a actual content somewhere else over here. And what we're doing is we're connecting them, both of them, with a data target over here. And we obviously have to use the same ID over here, this one and this modal over here. And then once we click it, we can actually open up over here. So it's very simple, but in the next video, again, we're going to add actual to the form, so you can see how it actually is going to look much, much better. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video.